Welcome to the Human Capital Development Cubicle. My name is Chief Correctional Officer Tokmo Hlavano. I'm going to give an overview of the Human Capital Development Directorate under the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service. Let me start by introducing you our hierarchy. We have our command element. We have at the helm, we have the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa. We fall under the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, headed by the Honorable Ziambi. Our commander of the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service is none other than the Commissioner General Moses C.N. Chihovu. And he is deputized by 4 Deputy Commissioner Generals, namely Shepard Mpofu, we have Christina M. Manivi, we have got Sosha Ondanga, and Dr. Granisia Msango. They are the ones who are at the helm of the organization, who give control and guidance on how we manage our organization. This is our mission statement, why we are there, why we exist as an organization. It is mainly to protect the society from criminal elements through the incarceration. We make sure that they get into prison. Our job starts at the court. So that is when we incarcerate them after being given an order by the courts. Then we rehabilitate them while they are what? In our custody, by giving them skills in order to equip them so that they use these skills after imprisonment when we reintegrate them back into society. Our officers and our inmates come from the society, and they will also go back into society. So we treat them the same because we feel they are what? They are also the same because they all come from where? From the society. What we are saying this year is bridging the gap between an offender and the offended. That is our theme for this year as Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service. What we are saying is, like I said, we get officers from the society. When we recruit them, we train them, give them skills. When we give them the skills, they impart those skills to the inmate in our custody. After having imparted the skills to our inmate, he is released from prison after going through our rehabilitation or correctional aspect. Then when he's out there, he uses those skills in order to benefit for himself and the government at large. Like I said, officers come from society. How do we recruit? We consider certain qualifications and attributes. That is what we are saying. One has got to have 5 O-levels, including English. Aged between 18 and 30 years. Why are we saying 18 to 30 years? That is an age group that is trainable, because our organization is a paramilitary organization. Hence we feel if we have people in that age group, we will be able to train them effectively. They also undergo medical examination and road run to test on their fitness. And also they write an aptitude test. After writing an aptitude test, they undergo a board interview. After having successfully gone through that process, they undergo training for a period of not more than 6 months at a training school. When they complete their training program, we deploy them to different stations where we encourage officers in charge to ensure that they continue the training process. Because at the training school, we give them theory at the station, then they put that theory into practice. Here you can see there are officers who are graduating after going an initial training at the training school. As you can see in that picture. Then after having completed 4 years, an officer is eligible to go for study leave, whether locally or outside the country. They can do all courses from certificate level up to even PhD or beyond. We have got other courses that we are doing for all ranks in the organization to ensure that officers do not lose focus on our issue of corrections. And since we introduced the correctional aspect in line with the new constitution, we had to come up with different courses to cover for all officers who are in the organization, so that we equip them with the knowledge on corrections. As we are moving away from the old system of running our organizations to that of correction aspect. We also have our staff college. As you can see in this picture, there are officers who graduated also from our staff college after having gone a course that covers most of these issues, since most senior officers are in the organization. So it's basically for senior officers and also for many other courses that we give to our officers. We have got also synergies for growth that we have been engaging government organizations. We've got non-governmental organizations as well, who we are working with to conduct different workshops in order to acquaint our officers on different aspects or any changes in society, so that our officers are well equipped with that information in order to improve or revamp on all our training programs. We also give exit courses to our officers before they leave the organization through retirement, so that they are also useful after having served in the organization.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Human Capital Development Cubicle. My name is Chief Correctional Officer Tokmo Hlavano. I'm going to give an overview of the Human Capital Development Directorate under the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service. Let me start by introducing you our hierarchy. We have our command element. We have at the helm, we have the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa. We fall under the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, headed by the Honorable Ziambi Ziambi. Our commander of the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service is none other than the Commissioner General Moses C.N. Chihovu, and he is deputized by 4 Deputy Commissioner Generals, namely Shepard Mpofu, we have Christina M. Manivi, we have got Sosha Ondanga, and Dr. Granisia Msango. They are the ones who are at the helm of the organization, who give control and guidance on how we manage our organization. This is our mission statement, why we are there, why we exist as an organization. It is mainly to protect the society from criminal elements through the incarceration. We make sure that they get into prison. Our job starts at the court, so that is when we incarcerate them after being given an order by the courts. Then we rehabilitate them while they are in our custody, by giving them skills in order to equip them so that they use these skills after imprisonment when we reintegrate them back into society. Our officers and our inmates come from the society, and they will also go back into society. So we treat them the same, because we feel they are they are also the same, because they all come from where? From the society. What we are saying this year is bridging the gap between an offender and the offended. That is our theme for this year as Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service. What we are saying is, like I said, we get officers from the society. When we recruit them, we train them, give them skills. When we give them the skills, they impart those skills to the inmate in our custody. After having imparted the skills to our inmate, he is released from prison after going through our rehabilitation or correctional aspect. Then when he's out there, he uses those skills in order to benefit for himself and the government at large. Like I said, officers come from society. How do we recruit? We consider certain qualifications and attributes. That is what we are saying. One has got to have 5 O-levels, including English. Aged between 18 and 30 years. Why are we saying 18 to 30 years? That is an age group that is trainable, because our organization is a paramilitary organization. Hence we feel if we have people in that age group, we'll be able to train them effectively. They also undergo medical examination and road run to test on their fitness, and also they write an aptitude test. After writing an aptitude test, they undergo a board interview. After having successfully gone through that process, they undergo training for a period of not more than 6 months at a training school. When they complete their training program, we deploy them to different stations where we encourage officers in charge to ensure that they continue the training process. Because at the training school, we give them theory at the station, then they put that theory into practice. Here you can see there are officers who are graduating after going an initial training at the training school. As you can see in that picture. Then after having completed 4 years, an officer is eligible to go for study leave, whether locally or outside the country. They can do all courses from certificate level up to even PhD or beyond. We have got other courses that we are doing for all ranks in the organization to ensure that officers do not lose focus on our issue of corrections. And since we introduced the correctional aspect in line with the new constitution, we had to come up with different courses to cover for all officers who are in the organization, so that we equip them with the knowledge on corrections. As we are moving away from the old system of running our organizations to that of correction aspect. We also have our staff college. As you can see in this picture, there are officers who graduated also from our staff college after having gone a course that covers most of these issues, since most senior officers are in the organization. So it's basically for senior officers and also for many other courses that we give to our officers. We have got also synergies for growth that we have been engaging government organizations. We've got non-governmental organizations as well, who we are working with to conduct different workshops in order to acquaint our officers on different aspects or any changes in society, so that our officers are well equipped with that information in order to improve or revamp on all our training programs. We also give exit courses to our officers before they leave the organization through retirement, so that they are also useful after having served in the organization.
Thank you. To know, like you said, your recruitment is only from 18 to 30.
Yes.
What if someone has done his own studies somewhere? Like, for example, someone has done counseling, someone has done psychology. How does he access to access the organization? Let's say if you asked to join.
To join the organization.
Since you only say the recruitment is from 18 to 30.
Yes.
But you might need some special skills. From what you said, I think you need maybe people like counselors, you need psychologists, I think you might need people like in your colleges, you might need lecturers, you might need doctors, but these are, I'm not sure if they go through the same path. But, so how does these other professions access?
Oh, okay. Yes. What is happening now is when we introduce the correctional aspect into the organization, we had to review our previous syllabuses to add on to some of the topics like sociology, counseling, so that our officers are given on the onset that knowledge as they join the organization. Then when we are in need of qualified personnel like doctors, if we do not have within the organization and there are vacancies available, we can recruit them from outside. Like recently, I think there was an advert on doctors. After having recruited them into the system, they undergo an induction course for a period of 6 months, for a period of not less than 3 months, to indict them, to teach them on how we operate in the organization, introducing them to the organizational culture, so that we work in line. They do their professional job, but we are also together as officers have to work on the mission statement of ensuring the incarceration, rehabilitation, reintegration of inmates into society.
Then I'm also interested on the aspect of reintegration into society.
Yes.
What exactly have you done to ensure that? Because I think we have also noticed a trend of repeated offenders.
Yes.
And the person comes in, goes out, comes in again. What exactly have you done? Maybe with some examples so that at least we can appreciate.
Okay, we have got another program that we are conducting called Another Chance. It has been helping a lot. Since our theme to this year is bridging the gap between the offender and the offended. We are the gap. We are the bridge. We are trying to link the offender with the offended. With Another Chance, we have been reaching out to those offended by the offender to make sure that our reintegration aspect is well recognized and appreciated after having trained our inmates. And through these exhibitions, we have actually been showing people how we are doing as an organization to rehabilitate our inmates. What we have been doing, like out there, we are training our inmates to assemble motorbikes. We are doing farming, we are doing other programs so that people appreciate the skills that we are imparting to our inmates, even on the educational aspect. Because reintegration does not involve officers or the organization alone. We also need that society where the inmate came from, so that they accept him after release. And yes.
Some of the questions that you have asked will be answered as we go through.
I welcome you to the Health Department cubicle. My name is Assistant Principal Correctional Officer Pamire Pamela. I am a Senior Registered General Nurse and a Systemic Family Therapy Counselor in the Zimbabwe Prison and Correctional Service. So, gentlemen, allow me to give you a brief summary of what the Health Department in the prison service is all about. So, it is a human right for each and every Zimbabwean citizen to receive proper quality healthcare services. As such, the Zimbabwe Prison and Correctional Service is focused on improving quality of life, as stressed in the National Development Strategy 1, that is focused on giving quality equality and improved well-being for quality of life that is good. So the Zimbabwe Prison and Correctional Service also focuses on giving rehabilitative services, curative services, promotive services, and preventive services. So in these services that we give these services to the inmates, the officers, the dependents, and the people who stay in the locality of the premises of the prison. Why do we give these services to the people who are not officers or inmates that stays in the vicinity of the prison? It is because we are giving back to the community, and there, as such, there might be an outbreak that comes from the community, that happens in the community, of some diseases. So as a measure to prevent these diseases to come into the prison, because the officers, they also stay in those communities. So as such, the Prisons and Correctional Service offers free treatment to the people in the communities surrounding the prison, so that if the people are treated, these illnesses or diseases or infections will not come into the prison. So in that way, we are also helping the nation. And we are also minimizing the numbers that go to the General Hospital and the other hospitals outside the prisons. We also offer these services to the inmates, because when an inmate is in prison, we are not there to punish him, because he has been given his punishment already. We are there to rehabilitate him, make him healthy, and then when he goes out of prison, he is a healthy being after the sentence expires. So, as such, as the health department in the prison service, we make sure that the inmate is healthy. How do we do that? The Prison and Correctional Service has employed health professionals from different departments. They are nurses, they are doctors, they are environmental technicians, everyone from different departments, so that if an inmate falls sick, us as the health personnel, we are there to cater and help in the promotion of the health of the inmate, so that he is healthy. Because the definition of being healthy is emotionally okay, stable, physically stable, and even socially stable. So for the inmate, for him to be rehabilitated by the prison officials and for him to serve his sentence, he has to be healthy. And we want to demystify the fact that people say when someone comes into prison, he is ill-treated in such a way that when he goes out of prison, he will be as good as dead and not productive. So as the Prisons and Correctional Service, we are there to rehabilitate, and the only rehabilitation can only happen when the inmate is okay and healthy. So when the inmate comes from court, we as the health department, we do screening. This screening is of different health conditions, but because we are here and it's a COVID pandemic period, we also screen for COVID-19. And if the inmate is COVID positive, then that inmate is placed into isolation. And in that isolation, he is placed in that isolation for 14 days. And in that 14-day period, we'll be treating him or her. If that inmate proves to be COVID negative, we put him into quarantine for 14 days. And in that 14 days period, we will be observing and monitoring if there is any development of any illness that might arise in that period. And the 14-day period elapses, then we discharge them and they join the other inmates. Then, when these inmates have come from the courts to the prison, the first thing that they do, when they get into the prison premises, they come to the clinic. That's when we do investigations of different diseases. After the investigations, we manage. Then if there are any illness that we come across, then we manage. And if there is some need for a doctor to see this patient, then we refer for further management. Then after that, we also monitor other diseases inside the prison amongst the inmates. Then we also do this, we also check if the inmate had chronic conditions. If he had chronic conditions, we document all that information. We do this and we ask them if he was on certain medications. We take those medications if he has them. We take those medications and we also document. This is for security reasons and also for continuity of treatment. Then, so that the inmate is healthy, as I have alluded before. We are here to make sure that we preserve the health function of the inmate so that when he goes out of prison, when the sentence expires, he is a healthy being, will be able to do work for his family. After rehabilitation and acquiring some rehabilitation skills, he'll be able to fend for his family and also do productive activities for the community and the nation at large. And it is an advantage to the nation because the morbidity and the mortality rates would decrease. Because when he comes out of prison, he will be healthy. We will have achieved our goal as the health department of the Zimbabwe Prison and Correctional Service. We also have partners that we work with. We have partners that we have synergies with. These partners, they come to prison with different activities. Some, they also come with medication that we give to the inmates. Some of the other partners, they come with training and training programs. These training programs are like peer counseling and peer educators that are trained within the inmates. We identify inmates that are capable to teach other inmates because we've realized that it is easier or simpler for an inmate to tell another inmate something and that other inmate believing in that something than for me, an officer, to tell that inmate something. It will take time for him to believe. So we equip them with information and knowledge so that when they go to the other inmates, they teach them this knowledge. And we also teach them to give health education to the other inmates. So these other partners, they come with support groups. There are some inmates that we diagnose, let's say HIV, we diagnose HIV positive cases in prison. So some of them find it very difficult to accept and adhere to their medication. But if these partners come, they bring support groups that are there to gather those people with the same conditions, and they'll be there to help each other accept their condition. They'll be there to help each other accept and adhere to medication. So some of the other partners are there and they come up with, we have forensic institutions that are there in prison. These other forensic institutions are like Chikurubi Maximum, where we have some psych patients there, and we also have another forensic institution like Mulondolozi. These institutions are there to house or keep the inmates that would have committed crime due to their insanity. So we have trained counselors, we have trained mental health nurses or doctors there in those institutions, and they'll be there to rehabilitate, even give medical treatment to these inmates, so that when they get out of prison after their sentences expire, they will be in their mental health state which is very stable, and they can be able to do productive activities for the nation and be able to fend for their families.
Welcome to Inmates Cubicle Welfare. I am Superintendent Bina. I shall take you through what we usually go through with. When inmates come from the courts, they would have been examined by medical experts from the first site. We don't admit a prisoner who hasn't been examined by a medical team, especially during this time of COVID. We make sure that all our inmates, all those who are coming from courts, have been examined by the medical team. When an inmate comes from the court, a warrant is issued from the courts, from the magistrate. That authorizes our institutions to hold that inmate until his sentence is expired. So on admission, the inmate is advised of the following. We have got females and males. We have got a total of 47 prisons within Zimbabwe. Of the 47 prisons, 2 are open prisons, 1 for females in Marondera and the other one for males in Kolmara near Gweru. As of today, we've got around plus or minus 70,000 as our unlock. Upon sentencing from the courts, an inmate is ferried to our institutions where he or she shall serve his term of sentence. When an inmate comes from that, straight away he goes to our reception area where all particulars are done. As you can see that is the reception area where we take care of all his property, his watch, his cell phone, his car keys, his clothing is all taken care of till the time he shall be relieved from prison. All that should be kept. Why do we take all his particulars? We want to keep him in touch with his fellow colleagues whom we have left behind. We don't want to create a gap between him and the society, despite that he has ruled the society. He has come from the society, he or she shall still return to the society. So we want to maintain ties with them. That's why we take all recordings through our reception areas where all are recorded down. After that, the cash is taken to the cashiers where it is kept as it is. Then his property, his clothing is taken to the stores where it is kept until the time of his expiration of sentence from the court. After having gone through the reception area, these are females, as you can see, the inside of the vessel where they have blankets. He has got this kid. Inmates, while they're serving the inmates, we offer them 3 meals. That is breakfast, lunch, and supper. Of that, they have meat twice a week, beans 5 days, and other they alternate with the vegetables. While these inmates are first serving the inmates, they don't just sit. They are not yet to be punished. We are doing our best to rehabilitate them so that there will be essential elements when they go back to the society. So some, they can go to the gardens where they grow their own food, their own vegetables. Some do real chickens or rabbits, or which shall be told as we proceed with the earnings. Our inmates do not do have blankets like we have at our own homes. They have issued the accommodation. When the inmate is done with being interviewed at the reception office, they are taken to the admin officer or the officer in charge, where he is advised of the do's and don'ts of the prisons. While he's in prison, inmates are given more rules or more formalities so that they live as a family. We do not segregate. We have got juveniles. Juveniles are not mixed with the hardcore criminals or senior people. For example, our juveniles are 18 years and below. Once he commits or she commits an offense, the magistrate will either send him to community service or pay a fine. If that fails, he or she is sent to jail where he will serve his term, but they serve it separately. They don't mix juveniles with adults, so that these young ones are not grilled to be hardcore criminals. We want them to be rehabilitated and reintegrated back into society and go back to school again, to be law-abiding citizens and to be our leaders and to work for Zimbabwe, so that in the future they can also teach their young ones that offending is not good. We want to go run away with offending, be a good citizen. So while they're in prison, they are told the do's and don'ts. When one's committed an offense in prison, he is charged accordingly. He can also be referred back to the courts to be, that's when you see when an inmate is given 1/3 of his remission. For instance, that's when you start saying the calendar terms of prisons are shorter than the one outside. No, they are not shorter at all. Is that term, that condition, which is said you earn 1/3 remission on good behavior. So, for example, if one has been sentenced for 18 months, he is advised by the officer in charge that you shall have 12 months in prison. You have suspended 1/3 of the sentence on condition of good behavior. While he's incarcerated, you perform well. You do not go against the laws of the internal area. Once he does that, automatically you will be released from prison. Our prisons are graded according to security status, that is grade A, grade B, grade C, and grade C. Accordingly, our inmates are so graded as to that condition. The highest being the D class, going to the C class, then the B class, and the A class. I don't know briefly if do you have any question to answer before you proceed, so that you can. No, the D class are the most dangerous ones. Those are murderers, serial killers, fraudsters of commercial crimes. Those are very dangerous. Those are the ones who are accommodated in the grade 4 prisons, which is the max around Chikrubi maximum, where they are within all they remain there. And during our rehabilitative activities, we do a variety as we shall use as we proceed according to people and the like. These people, we do this in order for them to maintain social blending with the families, and also to keep on contact with the outside community, so that they won't be neglected, so that they are kept abreast with what is happening. As you can see, the changes of this COVID, they are not left out. We are working very hard in order to suppress the pandemic. As we have very far, we have no major outbreak in prisons of COVID. Neither do we have challenges of doing that. It is well managed, as it is done on a voluntary basis, and their numbers is overwhelming, those who are taking up vaccinations.
I welcome you to the counseling cubicle. When you are talking about counseling, my name is Principal Correctional Officer Gladys Chipunde. I'm a social worker by profession. When you are talking about counseling, you are talking about a helping relationship that aims to assist a person to solve his or her own problem. When we are doing counseling, we are dealing with the mind, the psychological mind, and we are also providing social cycle support. When an inmate is admitted into prison, we do induction counseling. Induction counseling is meant to address the fears, the anxieties the inmates will be facing. Inmates can come with a long sentence. They can be sentenced to death. They can be life sentence. So we address their stress. We address their fears about the prison life. The court environment is very intimidating. So a prisoner can come to prison while stressed and also may be in shock. Some of them may also develop mental problems. So we address those problems. We offer different kinds of counseling in anger management, conflict management, suicidal, and also stress management. We help them to adapt to the prison life. Counseling is there to stabilize their minds whilst they are in prison, and also help them in their private issues and also their social issues. Why counseling? It restores the physical and the mental well-being of an inmate, and also it restores the normal function of an inmate. When they are in prison, they also do rehabilitation activities. So when we are counseling them, we know his or her own options, what he wants to do when he's in prison. So we give him an option to choose the courses they want. Maybe they want to do further their academic qualifications, we refer them to education. Maybe they want to use their hands to gain skills, you refer them to workshop and skills training. So counseling is a tool for rehabilitation. It helps the inmate to choose. He has got she has a right to choose what he wants to do. So we help them in choosing that. And also during the rehabilitation activities, we also do counseling sessions. And also when the inmate is in prison, we continue counseling them. Where do we find our clients? Our clients can be referred from other sections within the correctional facility. It may be the health department, administration, the reception, and also even the yard section where they stay, where they are housed. Other inmates can notice that the other inmate has a problem and come with them to the counseling department. And also you can observe them whilst we are in the yards. The counselors, we also tour the yards and so we can observe an inmate and initiate counseling sessions to solve his or her own problem. We are glad we have got partners. We work with partners. In our department, we have got the child line who provided counseling rooms and also refurbished the rooms which were identified. We provided stationery for our records to be kept well. And also we have the Connect, who also offer workshops to train officers in counseling so that they enhance their capacitation and also be professionals in the job. And also as counselors, we also do counseling to officers to provide them with a moral facilitation so that when they face problems, also they are also human beings. They will get well with inmates and other officers. And also we offer other programs like the peace education, which is meant to specific offender crimes like the PSOs and also these D-class inmates. It is all about mindset transformation. So it helps the inmate to begin with peace, because peace begins with a person, and don't expect it from someone, but you begin it with, you are the first person to begin with peace. So that's all we do in the counseling department. We offer exit counseling. When we do exit counseling, we are preparing the inmate for release, upon release, so that we know where he's going, and also if he doesn't have any fixed abode, we arrange for halfway homes, we engage families, we engage stakeholders, so that the reintegration process is successful. I thank you.
My name is Senior Assistant Principal Correctional Officer Mukunga Brighton. I am here standing for the Agro-industry section. As an organization, we believe that a healthy body breeds a healthy mind. And as per such, we have brought about the Agro-industry section, which is responsible for, firstly and most important, that is food security and nutrition for prison population, that is inmates and officers as well. And secondly, that is rehabilitation in inmates within agricultural activities, impartation of skills. And lastly, that is a formulation of a sound agricultural policy. As an organization, we boast of 3,437 hectares of arable land within the 10 administrative provinces, where we are saying 25 farm prisons are into agricultural production. We are meaning saying into field production, horticultural production, livestock production, and at a minimal level, we are talking of tobacco and cotton production. The current activities that we have undertaken with this agricultural season, we are saying we are a part of government activities, that is the command agricultural. We are saying under wheat production, that is under command, a total of 141 hectares have been planted, and we are looking at a total of 500 tons. And at the moment we are saying the crop is a hardening stage. At any time we'll be having the crop. Then we talk of command maize itself. A total of 93 hectares have been planted, and we have a projection of that is 480 tons. And as we are speaking right now, 250 tons have been shelled and sent to GMB, and the date that we have to pay through grain delivery to GMB has been surpassed. Meaning to say the remainder is going to prison consumption. Then finally we have production enhancement in Pumvudza production, where we are saying a total of 518 hectares have been planted, and as we are talking right now, we have a projection of 200 and 400 tons of maize, and where we are saying 1,500 has been produced, meaning to say at least 2,000 tons has been produced for inmates consumption, means we are going to save 2,000 tons from fiscal consumption. As an organization, we are also in synergies with other organizations, mainly the government, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Agriculture. We talk of NAC that are working with us. So basically, we are saying this year under the Belarus Farm Mechanization Program, we have received a total of 20 tractors, 10 seed drills, 3 combined harvests, and under the fixed gas production, we have received a total of 6 disc harrows. That is to increase production and productivities within the ZPCS. And this is also to fight against the effects of global change, that is climate change, that is coming in effects, natural disasters, and economic crisis that is the southern region in Africa is facing as well. As an organization, we are aiming that by 2025, ZPCS has to be self-sufficient, also putting into cognizance that we have received farm machinery distributed among the 10 provinces, where we are saying at any given time in a year, ZPCS had produced 4,818 tons, that is of maize. When it comes to vegetable, we are saying 1,000 tons at a given time. When it comes to meat, we are saying as well as 1,000 tons as meat. When it comes to livestock production, at any given time, the ZPCS within the course of the year should have at least that is 5,000 range cows, that is for meat for inmates. When we come to the dairy cows, milking cows, we are talking of 500 cows. Then sows, we are talking of 940 sow units that the ZPCS should have. And in cognizance of security, we are saying 200 horses and 200 dogs should also be available under the ZPCS. That is our vision in tandem with the vision 2025, where Zimbabwe has become an upper middle class economy by 2030.
I am Assistant Principal Correctional Officer Tizai Martin, an education officer in the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service. Welcome to Sport and Recreation Cubicle. You might want to know why sports in the prisons. We believe as an organization that we want to become, or we endeavor to become, the best correctional service provider in this region and even beyond. So as an organization, the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service has come up with a strategy, rehabilitation strategy, which is by the name SPAM. And by SPAM we are saying sport and recreation, psychosocial support. We are talking of education and skills training. So we are saying sport and recreation is one of the facets of rehabilitation in the Zimbabwean prison services. So sport has a lot of benefits in prisons. Number one, sport offsets idleness, and by that we engage inmates in different sporting activities. And when we engage them, remember that each and every sporting activity is governed by rules and regulations. So by engaging inmates in those sporting activities, we will be training them to obey the rules or the laws of the land. And we also will be assessing their level of obedience to the rules and regulations. So we offer indoor sporting activities which include chess, draft, table tennis, and also outdoor games which include soccer, volleyball, netball, among others. So when we engage them, they will become physically and mentally fit. So when we engage them into these activities, remember, as you have heard from our psychosocial support services, inmates might come into the prison with stress because of what transpired in courts and because of maybe fear of the high walls that are there in the prisons. So sport helps to relieve that stress and stress-related illnesses, thereby increasing the budget on part of the government. So when we engage them in sporting activities, we will reduce or eradicate the chances of inmates getting stress-related illnesses. So we will have reduced the burden on the part of the government. So we do not work in isolation, but we work with different organizations, be they church organization, individuals, and also other organizations. We have, I can give you an example of Novelty Car Rental, which came and sponsored a very big chess tournament. And we also have the Zimbabwe football legends, who also came and supported us in soccer, netball, and also volleyball inter-prisons competition. Now that we are in this COVID-19 pandemic, we are limited to intra-prison competitions, where I believe you have heard from our health section that we take inmates in the same prison as a family, so they can participate in different sporting activities, of course following the COVID-19 protocols. So we are limited to intra-prison competitions. So we still welcome any organization, we welcome individuals to come and partner with us so that we go ahead with this program of habilitating inmates, because if we have sick inmates, they cannot, we cannot have successful rehabilitation, because we need healthy inmates for them to be successfully reintegrated, rehabilitated, and then reintegrated into the society.
Welcome to the Open Prison Cubicle. I'm Correctional Officer Grade 1, Dangasibonakele Precious. As Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service, it is our mandate to protect the society from criminal elements. How do we do that? We do that through incarceration, rehabilitation, and the reintegration of offenders back into the society. And as such, as Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service, this year the ZAS, we are exhibiting under the theme Bridging the Gap Between the Offender and the Offended. And we are also running in tandem with ZAS, a theme that is celebrating unprecedented growth and synergies for growth. And as such, we have the open prisons in Zimbabwe, one located in the Midlands province, that is Conmara prison, Conmara Open Prison, that houses male inmates. And we also have one of its own, one of its first kind, the female open prison that is located in Marondera, that was commissioned and whose patron is my Auxilia Mnangagwa. One might be asking themselves, what could be the differences between an open prison and a closed prison? From the wording itself, I'm sure it says a lot. And one, I might be familiar with the high walls of the closed prisons. And on the open prisons, we operate, or these operate as a pre-lease homes, and we have a home setup. And also there are quite a number of privileges or benefits for one inmate who will be stationed or would be positioned at an open prison. Like I said earlier, on the open prisons, they operate as a pre-release home. That means that this is a home of freedom with responsibilities, and we also get to have inmates having to partake on their duties unescorted, and they have that responsibility. That means that they are really faithful and they get back on time. And like I also say that we select, train and prepare the inmates for release. By selecting, we also have a certain criteria that we follow to have inmates placed at open prison. That means that one should have served at least 12 months at a closed prison and is also left with at least 30 months before his or her release. So how do we do that? That is preparing the inmate for their successful reintegration back into the society. Remember, I say that the open prison, it acts as a halfway home or a pre-release home. That means that we are preparing the inmate that he has a smooth transition back to the society, and we are also making sure that the successful reintegration back into the society happens through giving the inmate at least a home leave that does not exceed 5 days. Thereby, the inmates get to acquaint themselves from the prison environment and then back into the society. And we are also working hand in glove with various vocational training centers. For example, we have Kaguvi Vocational Training Center that is in partnership with Konmara prisons, where male inmates are being imparted with various skills that entail upholstery, carpentry, bricklaying, just to mention about a few. And then for the female inmates, we also have teddy bear making, we also have detergent making, as well as hairdressing and dressmaking. We believe with all these skills, the inmates would definitely reintegrate back into the society. Once again, I thank you for touring the open prison cubicle.
Welcome to the Education and Skills Training Cubicle. As you can see, this is the hub and the epitome of the rehabilitation activities. Education enhances upward social mobility and behavioral change. In the same vein, rehabilitation in the correctional context also entails behavioral change. As such, the nexus between education and rehabilitation in the criminal justice system cannot be overemphasized. Prisoners still retain their right to education. So upon incarceration, we take into consideration their entry point qualification. That's why we offer courses from as low as primary and secondary education, where we are affiliates to ZIMSEC. We also offer courses for tertiary education, where we are affiliated to institutions of higher learning, such as University of Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe Open University, UNISA, CIS, IAC, to name but a few. In terms of skills training, we are affiliated to HEXO, where we have inmates in our workshops doing vocational courses in carpentry, joinery, metal mechanics, and courses such as upholstery and tailoring. Such inmates are also certified with HEXOS, and for their genuine certification, we are affiliated to the Ministry of Manpower and Development. We have synergies with corporate and church organizations, as well as non-governmental organizations. Such organizations help us to achieve our mandate of successful rehabilitation and reintegration into society. For instance, our inmates go and train as skilled workers in different companies that have opted to partner with ZPCS. For instance, Allied Timbers in Manicaland, McDonald Bricks in Matebeleland. Creative Computers managed to build a computer laboratory for the ZPCS college to enhance technology within education. As such, we find that we are partakers of the National Development Strategy through human capital development and skills training. The epitome of our skills training is a recent merger between Gelos Motor Industries and ZPCS. As you can see, just in front of me, we have inmates. These inmates you see here are assembling motorbikes. You can turn around and check. This motorbike is about to get finished. They've been doing it actually this afternoon, and we are proud producers of such assembled motorbikes within the Zimbabwe Prison Services, a company called Correctional Industries Manufacturers. So if you want to have a feel of how rehabilitation and reintegration looks like, then we are saying such synergies are so important, and we invite more corporate and non-governmental organizations to come and be part and partakers of this noble cause of successful reintegration into society. I thank you.
Ja, chiri kuitika panapa ndechekuti ini neumwe wangu tiri wasungwa. Saka zvatiri wasungwa saizvozvo takaita zvidzidzo zvemotorbike assembling paHarare Central Prison workshop. Taita zvidzidzo izvozvozvo takasvika pakupedza kuzviita. Then tawana kutokwanisa kuassembla mabikes kubva kwekutanga kusvika kwekupedzisira. Mabikes edu aya anouya ari separated parts. Then tomamounta kubva kwekutanga kusvika kwekupedzisira ratomira rato bike ra ready for use. Inini panze hatina kumbobvira taita izvozvi zvekuassembla mabikes. Chidzidzo chatakatongowanawo tiri mujeri chikatibatsirawo pakurarama kwedu mujeri.
Chidzidzo kudaro zviri nyore sei kana zvakaoma sei kuassembla motorcycle?
Kuassembla mamotorcycles hatingati pane chakanyanya kuoma. The whole essence of assembling kukwanisa ngomaster kuti pati iyi inoenda up ne up. Ndo chinhu chakakosha kuti munhu ungokumze kunzwisisa izvozvo. Ukangodzimara wamaster izvozvo haya home and dry.
Tinozati munguva shoma iri kupera munenge mabuda musungwa nezvidzidzo zvamunenge mawana muno zvinokubatsirai zvakadini masa?
Panze takanga tiriwa parwemhosva tichiita zvinhu zvakanga zvisina maturo mukurarama kwedu. Zvimwe zvacho yakanga iri nyaya yekushayawo mabasa, asi tinototenda hurumende yakatigonesawo kuti tinge tichiita makosi akadai so tiri mujeri. Zvinova zvakutibatsirawo raramo yedu panze, taane zvekunoitawo panze zvichabatsirawo mhuri yedu kana even hurumende yacho.
For these and more stories, tune in to Zim Newsbeat TV with Robert Tafumani.